he didn't know where his kids even were, and he was trying to find out. And then he made another motion, and I was saying, I don't know what good it does to give you time when you don't even know where they are. This is father's motion for parenting time. There was a order a while ago that started some parenting time. I believe he was to have Saturday, like telephone contact or something. Stip an order from 5:14, telephone contact with the boys every Wednesday at 7:30. And he's now asking for, go back the way it was. I mean, it's forever ago the way it was. So obviously his motion is asking for some addition beyond the Wednesday time. Is that correct, Mr. Smith?
Yes, sir.
You have a place where you live and all that kind of stuff?
Yes, sir.
Living, working, that kind of stuff. Have you been having the Wednesday contact with the kids?
It started off on Wednesday, then Eliza and I determined, based on my work schedule, that the 15-minute window that I was allowed to have on Wednesdays with my work schedule wasn't giving me enough time to hardly
That's
break the
fine.
surface with conversation. So we transitioned it to Sunday afternoons.
So she's worked with you, sounds like.
She is.
All right. Miss Bailey Hobbs, I mean, I'll tell you that I'm going to eventually start to increase some type of parenting time, not necessarily a weekend or something like that, but I'd be interested to hear what you have to say. Miss Smith is working with them, and so let's hear what you have to say.
Thank you, Your Honor. First off, I'd like to address the fact that Mr. Smith's motion is not filed pursuant to the court rules. MCR 2.119A1 states that the motion must state with particularity the grounds and authority on which it's based. Mr. Smith's motion is 2 or 3 sentences long and is merely a request for relief. He is not alleged good cause or change in circumstance, different from the circumstances that were present in May when the parties entered a consent order. That consent order was not entered as a temporary order. The court's well aware that there are standards that need to be met when modifying parenting time. So I'd first like to make a motion to dismiss based on failure to identify any good cause or change in circumstance. But then I would like to address the court's question after that.
I'd like you to address the court's question because look, I've dealt with Mr. Smith on a couple of occasions. I think he was down in Texas originally, weren't you, sir?
Yes, sir.
And he didn't know where his kids even were, and he was trying to find out. And then he made another motion, and I was saying, I don't know what good it does to give you time when you don't even know where they are. Somehow they've reconnected and made some kind of connection so that he at least, I mean, his kids are what, 15 and 13? Do I have that correct?
Yep. Yes, Your Honor. The 13-year-old will be 14 in November.
Yep, November 18.
Yes,
So,
sir.
you know, the reality is that at some point he's going to be able to reconnect with his kids on something more than just a phone contact. That's why I was asking if he's had since May through now and they've worked with it and the kids have had contact, and I'm sure it's not perfect and all that kind of stuff, but they have had contact. I'm looking to see what your client thinks about having some, whether it's supervised or whatever, meeting with the kids. I'm not going to reinstate what he asks for every other Tuesday or Saturday and Sunday. It's not appropriate at this time. Maybe somewhere in the future it will be. So please address my question then.
Thank you, Your Honor. My client proposes that the I don't know if he's plaintiff or defendant, that the plaintiff, Mr. Smith, start participating in reunification therapy with the children. That could be done in person. It would give the children a bridge to get to know Mr. Smith and start to form a bond with him. They, as you stated, they have not seen Mr. Smith in years. Miss Smith is concerned about the oldest child, Elijah. He has severe Crohn's disease, and so a significant stress would potentially flare that up. And so one of the reasons why she thinks it's appropriate to do the reunification therapy would be to help ease that transition. There has been phone calls since May. Some of those phone calls have lasted 2 minutes. Some of them have lasted up to an hour. There was a period of time in July where the phone calls were lasting a little bit less than 10 minutes. Sometimes they were 14 minutes. Um,
Like I say, that I understand. I'm not going to force these kids to go stay at his house from Friday to or Saturday to Sunday overnight and stuff like this. Um, reunification. I mean, who does she want? What about something as simple as the kids would go meet their dad at, and the name is nothing, okay? Whether it's Denny's or whether it's the I just had somebody go to the food court in the mall, Woodland Mall, or whatever the other mall is here, or meet at McDonald's. Maybe one of the kids have a favorite place to go to eat or something like that. Just to go there, mom can, drop the kids there, but stay kind of around. I'm just trying to get him to meet. I'm afraid that I don't think either of these parties, I don't know that Mr. Smith has a lot of extra money to be going to a therapist and stuff like that. I'm not trying to make the kids worried about it. They just go and they have like I say, I'm just using this name. So they go to Denny's and they meet at 6 o'clock on a Saturday. He buys them dinner, talks to them a little bit, and leaves within an hour or so. And mom, you're not going to sit at the table with them, but you can be around there and stuff, or sit out in the car or whatever. The kids, they're also not little kids, so I'm not worried. He's not going to, he's not going to eat them for dinner. He's just going to have to try and establish, sir, you got to work on reestablishing contact with kids. Okay. You need to work on face to face. You need to start working on this and slowly work back into it. That would be what I would like to see. And I'd like to hear from Ms. Hobbs, Bailey Hobbs, if you don't mind. I'd like to hear from Ms. Smith for a minute on like, what would be a favorite place that they'd want to go? Just for a dinner or something like that. You know what I'm talking about. Would they rather go to the zoo? Whatever.
That's fine, Your Honor. I instructed Ms. Smith before the hearing when we spoke yesterday that you may have some questions for her.
Yeah, Miss Smith, tell me something that would be kind of nice for the kids and they'd see it as a good thing, and you're just gonna talk to your dad for, I'll be back or get you in a short period of time. What would I'm letting you make the spot.
Um, they're boys. They love food. So I would say
Yeah.
food is probably going to be your biggest way in. So I would say probably going to somewhere. I know they really love like Olive Garden and some of those ones. Um,
Would they feel comfortable there?
I'm not sure they will feel comfortable anywhere for a while.
Well, they won't feel comfortable even if it's a reunification therapist. They aren't going to feel comfortable going to a therapist's office. All right. That's I can't imagine they're going to go, oh yeah, this is great. I'm going to go to a therapist's office who I don't really know and meet my dad who I haven't seen in forever. I think they'd probably feel better. Yeah, we're going to go to the Olive Garden, or sir, could you take him to the Olive Garden Saturday at, I don't know, 5 o'clock or something?
The location doesn't matter. I'll be able to take them anywhere. But I just want to throw this out there. I live on a campground. I have a grill. It allows us a safe environment that we don't have to worry about the public eye. And
Yeah, but
she could
the
stay on grounds. It'll give.
I want you to know the first time or two, I do want them out in the public feeling that they're, they haven't, when was the last time you physically saw them?
It's been close to 7 years.
All right. So, and at that point, I mean, geez, oh, Pete, your kids were 8 and 6 or whatever. All right. And I'm not saying you're a bad guy at all, okay? I'm just trying to make it simple for the kids. And if you would meet at the Olive Garden at, I don't know, 5 o'clock on Saturday or Sunday or something like that, you have that time off work?
Yes.
And mom is just saying they'd probably like to go there. I'd like to go there. If you want to buy my meal too, I'm not gonna supervise, but I'd appreciate it. How about doing something like that? And you could do it. I'd tell you should be allowed to do it each week. It doesn't always have to be. Listen, Miss Smith, are you able to contact Mr. Smith at all or anything?
I am, but he does live almost 2 hours away, so that
Well,
I don't have time to drive that all the
okay, well,
time.
where do you live? Don't give me your address, but where do you live?
I live in Portage.
Okay. So that's by Kalamazoo.
Yes. Hmm.
And sir, you live up in Grand Rapids?
No, I'm over in Grass Lake, Jackson area.
Oh. All right. Find a spot somewhere where she doesn't have to take the kids for a long drive. This is all a preliminary thing. This is all to just get things started, all right? And if you get to the point where the kids seem pretty comfortable, I kind of think mothers, if the kids are comfortable, I think mother will be kind of comfortable also, because you know where I'm going with this, Miss Smith. You can talk to your counsel, okay? And maybe she'll get to a point where Saturdays, yeah, you can pick them up at noon and grill out with them, or that'll be winter, go sledding. I don't care what you're gonna do for a while. And get so they're comfortable. When they're comfortable with you, we'll start talking about having, Saturday through Sunday or something like that. All right, but not right now. If you want to set a time and place, ma'am, I don't care if you want to start it this Saturday or Sunday or next Saturday or Sunday, that I'm going to leave that to you. And you set a time and a place and he'll be there. Ms. Smith?
Um,
Give me 1 second.
You can tell me.
I mean, I was honestly hoping for supervised visits, but
It is kind of supervised, okay? Because they're gonna be in a public place, all right? And I really don't think kids at this age are not that thrilled to, who do you want to supervise it? You'll
I
be the,
neutral party, but Olive Garden, I guess. There's one in Portage, and Sundays are better.
all right, Sunday at 5, 4?
Sure,
Well,
5 is good.
5 o'clock, can you do it this week? Or if you want, I'll let it start next week.
This week I was supposed to take them to Grand Rapids for their grandmother's birthday
All right.
on Sunday, so I can try and get back in time for that, but that might be
No, I'll tell you, you can start it next week, Sunday,
okay.
right? He'll still have that time that he can talk to him on the phone and stuff like that, okay? But we'll start it, he'll be at the Portage Olive Garden at 5 o'clock next Sunday. All right, and make it just as easy as can be. The kids, you just tell them it's no big deal. You're gonna go have dinner. Go have dinner. What a great time. And we'll see. After that, we'll set Sunday at 5 o'clock. I won't set a specific place. Talk to Miss Hobbs, Mr. Smith. You talk to Miss Hobbs and see if we can have a place. Ma'am, if it goes awful, Miss Hobbs will make a motion to me, okay? if it's terrible. Mr. Smith, if it goes good, you can resend in your motion somewhere down the road. I'm not gonna have 2 good visits and then suddenly give you every other weekend, all right?
Right.
I'm gonna have you break into it. All
I
right?
appreciate it.
Talk to the kids, find out how they're doing in school, what's their favorite subjects and all that kind of stuff, and enjoy the time. So, and it'll be for an hour and a half. It probably takes an hour and a half at Olive Garden to eat. The following Sunday, which is like the 14th or 15th or something like that. First time. And I'll give you an hour and a half every Sunday to take them to a public place. I hope you guys can agree on it. I'm not asking you anything other than you're gonna have to do most of the transportation at this point, sir.
That's fine.
So, ma'am, you don't have to drive an hour or two on Sunday. Just get the kids there and let's try to work together. The reason I'm doing this is because, ma'am, you were able to mediate this. I give you credit for it. You were able to also give some credit for setting up a different time than is in the court order, which you wouldn't have had to. And you're doing that, and so that's why I'm giving you so much room on this. All right? Let's just see if it'd be great. I'm sure you know it's best if the kids have a relationship with both parents, and we'll see what happens. All right, Miss Bailey Hobbs, want to draft this every Sunday, basically starting next week for an hour and a half at 5 o'clock. First one is at the Portage. That can be the default place, but let's work on going to a couple different places. So you guys could email or text and say, how about this week we go, ma'am? All right. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
All right. Anything else, Miss Bailey Hobbs? I appreciate your assistance here.
Nothing from me.
All right. You'll draft the order and send it through on a 7-day?
Yes, Your Honor.
Means, sir, if she's gonna draft the order and send it, she'll send a copy to you. If it's not what I ordered, then you can object to it, but you gotta do it within 7 days of receipt of it. I'm sure she's gonna send me what I ordered because it's not very complicated. All right?
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
We're adjourned. Thank you. Miss Bailey Hobbs, we got you after your hearing, I take it?
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. Thanks
Good
for
morning.
the flexibility.
No problem. I'm really a pretty easy guy to get along with, whether you think so or not.
I hadn't formed an
Wait a
opinion
minute,
on-
wait a minute. My clerk just laughed, and I gotta have a moment of silence with her.